Most students barely noticed Ethan Carter. He rarely spoke in class and mostly kept to himself. To everyone else, he seemed like just another quiet kid, but they had no idea how much he actually understood. Mrs. Collins had a habit of targeting students she thought were weak, and in her mind, Ethan was the easiest target in the room. His silence made her believe he lacked confidence. That assumption would soon become a costly mistake. Almost every day she found a reason to call him out. Sometimes it was for not speaking enough. Other times she accused him of not paying attention. Yet Ethan never argued back. What Mrs. Collins didn't realize was that Ethan listened carefully. He remembered almost everything he heard. While others talked, he observed, and he kept records of everything. One afternoon, Mrs. Collins publicly criticized Ethan again. She claimed he never participated and wasn't trying. Several students looked uncomfortable, but Ethan simply nodded and stayed silent. The criticism didn't stop in class. Even during lunch, Ethan could feel the attention. Rumors started spreading among students, yet he refused to react. One day, Ethan finally tried to answer a question. Before he could finish, Mrs. Collins interrupted him. The room immediately became quiet. Something felt different this time. The interruption embarrassed Ethan in front of everyone. Several students thought the teacher had gone too far, but Mrs. Collins seemed pleased with herself. She believed she had proven a point. That evening, Ethan sat at his desk. He opened a folder he had maintained for months. Inside were dates, notes, and school records. Everything was carefully organized. Ethan wasn't planning revenge. He simply believed facts mattered, and facts had a way of revealing the truth. Soon everyone would see what he already knew. The next morning, Ethan arrived at school as usual. Nobody could tell he had spent hours organizing evidence. To everyone else, it looked like another normal day. But Ethan already had a plan. Mrs. Collins started class with her usual attitude. She immediately singled Ethan out again. The students exchanged nervous glances. They had seen this routine before. This time, Ethan politely answered every question. His responses were accurate and detailed. Even some classmates looked impressed. Mrs. Collins looked increasingly frustrated. The more Ethan answered correctly, the angrier she became. Her criticism stopped making sense. Students began noticing the difference. The classroom atmosphere felt tense. Near the end of class, she assigned Ethan extra work. No one else received the same assignment. Several students noticed immediately. Ethan simply accepted the papers without complaint. Word spread quickly throughout the school. Students started discussing what they had witnessed. Many felt Ethan was being treated unfairly. Questions began circulating among classmates. During study period, Ethan continued gathering records. Emails, assignments, and classroom notes were carefully organized. Everything was backed up and documented. Accuracy mattered to him. Eventually, Ethan requested a meeting with the counselor. He remained respectful throughout the conversation. Instead of making accusations, he presented facts. The counselor listened carefully. The counselor was surprised by the level of detail. Dates, assignments, and communications were all documented. Nothing appeared exaggerated. Everything was supported by evidence. Soon the information reached Principal Rodriguez. He believed every concern deserved a fair review. After examining the records, he became concerned. A formal meeting was scheduled. Mrs. Collins expected the meeting to be routine. She assumed Ethan had simply complained. What she didn't expect was the amount of documentation. The mood changed quickly. One by one, Ethan presented the records. Every claim matched a specific date and event. There were no emotional arguments, only facts and evidence. As the review continued, Mrs. Collins became uneasy. Several incidents she barely remembered were documented clearly. The timeline revealed a troubling pattern. The evidence spoke for itself. Principal Rodriguez asked careful questions. The answers were already in the documents. Every page added more context. The situation became impossible to ignore. Additional administrators were brought into the review. They wanted a complete understanding of the situation. The investigation expanded beyond a single complaint. Patterns began appearing elsewhere. Other students were quietly interviewed. Several shared similar experiences. Their accounts supported many of Ethan's observations. The picture became much clearer. For the first time, Mrs. Collins realized the seriousness of the situation. The confidence she once displayed was fading. The investigation continued moving forward, and she could no longer control the outcome. After reviewing all available information, administrators reached conclusions. Appropriate actions were prepared. Policies existed for a reason, and those policies would now be enforced. The final review focused on fairness and accountability. Everyone involved wanted the correct outcome. The goal wasn't punishment. It was protecting students and maintaining standards. A few weeks later, things felt very different. Ethan could finally focus on school without constant targeting. His quiet determination had made a difference. And everyone learned an important lesson. Never underestimate the quiet kid.